Welcome to Amy's Bookshelf Reviews podcast. I'm Amy Shannon, but you can call me Amy. Thank you for listening. Hello and welcome, and I hope all is well with you. I'm Amy, and today I'm talking about author Talia Haven's short stories. I have two in mind that I'm going to share with you today. Talia Haven, as you know, I have discussed her work before. She writes a variety of genres in short stories, and what I like is that her descriptions are brief and to the point, and it makes you really want to read what's going on. The titles of her story also are so interesting, and they're a definite attention grabber, because once you read the story, you're like, why did she come up with that title? And then you think about it for a second, and then you get it. So I think she has a magnificent way of telling a story, and you can always tell how good a writer is by reading it and how much passion they have. I tell you, I've read so many books. I can't even count, because I'm not only reading books about to do the reviews or anything, but I also read for my own purposes, my own entertainment, my own research, whatever I'm working on. I always seem to have a book open or several books open with bookmarks all over the place, so I can just stay on top of things while I am going to read until the day I can no longer take a breath. So anyways, today's stories I'm going to talk about Talia Haven's They Never Ever Take the Children, and also Judas's Daughter. So these are going to be very interesting stories, and of course there will be more and more, because she just loves to send out more and more stories. So I can't wait to pick those up and read more and add them to my show schedule. So I'm going to talk about right now is the one, They Never Ever Take the Children. And of course, where you can find all of her books if you go to her author profile on Amazon.com, and then you can find all of her stories there. So where They Never Ever Take the Children is about, then when it is all over, the earth stops trembling, you can return your homes. Your children will be waiting, because they come, they take the adults, but they never ever take the children. So, I have an excerpt of They Never Ever Take the Children, and it's one page. It's, when I say one page for this particular story, it is actually a Kindle page, so it may not be the same if it's a print page. So, I was at the well when the first tremor came. A giant rabbit, I said, reassuring myself, or maybe a giant deer. Another quake quickly followed, another, each one closer than the last. My older sister Beth leaned close. She spoke softly so no one else could hear. You'll have bad dreams tonight. I drew a deep breath, pretended not to hear. It's just an animal. I wiped my sweaty palms on the apron of my dress and struggled to keep from fleeing. I need to hold my place in line. Stay calm. You think it's coming. Even the oldest person in the village has never seen one. Another quiver. This time I felt it run up my legs instead of just through my feet. I glanced about. 2-year-old Holden whimpered and clung to Beth's legs. Others in the village ignored the tremors and continued with their chores. My mind raced with memories of the childhood pledge the adults always made us recite. When the earth shakes, run, abandon your children. Run, hide, do whatever you can to keep from getting caught. Then when it's all over, when the earth stops trembling, you can return to your homes. Your children will be waiting, because when they come, they take the adults, but they never, ever take the children. They never, ever take the children, I reassured myself, drawing a small glimmer of comfort from the last time. I breathed a sigh of relief and realized that it was finally my turn to draw water. I tied the wet rope to my bucket and sent it down. The scream was loud and lingered with me for a while, refusing to fade. The village, once calm, descended into chaos. Suddenly, I dropped the rope into the dark water below. Beth screamed, "Run!" Holden clung to her skirts. She pried his fingers loose. "Mama!" he bawled. Beth grabbed him and took off. I followed them down the dirty, crowded street, chasing after my panicked sister. "Drop 'em, Beth. Remember, they never ever take the children. Drop 'em. Save yourself." "No." Slowed down by Holden's weight, Beth sobbed and shifted him into a better position, hugging him tighter. Beth's voice cracked. "I won't leave him to get trampled." I grabbed her by the arm. She tried to pull away, but I held on tight. All of us people screamed and ran for cover. Off to the left, the village blacksmith went, shooting upward. His scream faded, only to be replaced by the wailing of infants, toddlers, and children, all abandoned while their parents fled. "Think, Beth," I hollered, stretching out my arms to take Holden. "If you get caught, the first thing they will do is take Holden away from you." Beth frantically glanced about her, and I could see it in her eyes. She was looking for a hiding place. "Look at me," I shouted, getting my sister's attention once again. "You know that when they take the children away from parents, it kills them. They are too rough. I'm a kid, but they won't take me. I'll take care of him." She looked into Beth's tear-filled eyes. "I promise." So that happened. Very interesting, and you never know what's going to happen when you read one of her stories. And that's just the beginning. So the next book the next story I'm going to talk about is Judas's daughter. Nissa and Rasa pay a heavy price when their older brother Healy makes an unholy deal with the pagan god Moloch. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the names right, but now here comes the first page of Kindle page, that is, of Judas's daughter. Chapter 1. I was hardly 12 and my mother with her last child when my father, Judas Iscariot, deserted our family to follow the man they called the Nazarene. Several years later, when word of my father's traitorous betrayal of the Lord and later death by his own hand came to us, we, his family, grieved. But Healy had more vengeance and grief in his heart. It was because his hate Jehovah ignored my older brother's Healy's prayers for justice against our father's fellow plotters, the chief priests and the patriarchs of Kerioth. First of all, never let it be said that I didn't love my father. I do. I have fond memories of him, and some of them still make me smile. However, my feelings toward him after he abandoned us had changed. On the day he decided to leave, Father left Healy to work the stall that day when he had gone to hear the Nazarene preach. Afterward, Father came home and packed his sleeping roll. He left the same day while my brother Healy sold fish, chicken, and other types of meat. I was also busy grazing our family's goats so we could have fresh milk to sell. Father never came back, and my mother was true to her wedding vows, remained faithful. With Father's departure, Healy was now the man of the house. Healy could never find fault in our father's actions. Newly married to Miriam, Healy had often stated to the three of us women that a man should do what a man felt was right. It was not our father's betrayal of the priest did Healy's heart turn to vengeance. We heard of Healy's shameful act when Tamar, my mother's childhood friend, came knocking at our door. Tamar had been out early shopping in the marketplace when she first heard the rumors and later some of the truth. Disturbed by what she had heard, Tamar hurried to our home to inform Mother. The four of us had already been seated at the low table, just beginning our morning meal when a hard knock sounded at our door. My mother, slow to answer, quickened her step when a loud knock came again. Tamar appeared nervous as she stood on the threshold, a tattered gray scarf hiding only part of her salt and pepper hair. I could not hear what she said, but Mother sounded surprised to see Tamar so early in the morning and invited her in. Tamar lowered her headscarf and hardly met my mother's eyes when she was offered a seat at the table along with a cup of goat's milk. Tamara refused Mother's offer and blurted out, "Oh, Giselle, I am so sorry about Healy and Jonah." So, those are two other great stories by Talia Haven, and I am so glad to be able to share those with you. And if you're an author who wants your book to be on the show, go to amysbookshelfreviews.com/podcast for more information. If you're an author and you want your book to be reviewed, go to amysbookshelfreviews.com for more information. Thank you, and I'll talk to you again next week. This has been Amy's Bookshelf Reviews podcast. Thank you for listening. And always, be kind and stay safe. Thank you.